he's going to be talking about taxation. I recommended that you attend, and he indicated that he had a bad experience with you previously, and I shared with him that I will show up. I'll be bringing the future congressman, and we'll both behave ourselves, and we're going to talk about taxes with Alan in the Brain Trust.
Great. He's very, very sensitive about vaccines, and I promise you, I won't bring up vaccines once. Strictly taxation.
Maybe what we can do is participate in the conversation, and if you're feeling ornery towards the end, maybe take a parting shot.
Hey, Mojo, were you a little upset that Brent left? I think you were.
Brent? Nah, he'll be back.
You'll get him next time, right?
Brent is one of those interesting people. I've never seen someone. You'd have to go to boxing, like when Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti, they'd have these wars, right? But at least those guys had some wins on their record. Imagine a guy that takes a pummeling like that, but has never landed a punch and never won a fight. That's Brent. And so there's something about his resilience that I actually admire, if I'm being honest.
No, but there was Astro. Which one would you think is more resilient, Astro or Pro?
Well, Brent's got just a lot longer tenure here. So Brent's been doing this for years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of new to this. But Astro, he had a little fight. He had a little fight. You had to send him to the goo quite a few times.
Yeah, well, I tend to send people to goo if they don't shut the fuck up. You could disagree with me. You can tell me that you think my idea is stupid, all that kind of jazz. I'll probably have a response for it, but I'll let you get your licks in. Like the one thing that I do allow is for people to get their punches in. It's not my fault that he doesn't land them.
No, but you were giving him. You were like. You were giving it to him, and he just hung in there, and he stayed in there with you. I think you got to invite him back, Mojo.
Hey, Dr. Mojo, I'd like to ask you a question.
Go for it.
This is in regards to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism? Do you think that all the terrorism we have seen in the past 25 years has been authentic? Or do you think that perhaps the CIA and others in the U.S. government faked terrorism?
I don't think they faked terrorism, but I think it's one of those things similar to having awareness of the Pearl Harbor attack in 1941. I don't know how you classify it, but if you know that something's happening and you allow it to happen because it creates a good narrative for you, it's not exactly that you did it or that you orchestrated it even, but there is some guilt associated with allowing these things to take place.
Well, I'm only asking because our glorious president, Donald Trump, has clearly identified that fake news is real and that MSNBC, CNN, and all the others just spam us with clickbait titles, which is all just a bunch of fluff. So I'm just wondering, and with the NDAA being at $1 trillion a year, is $1 trillion a year still needed to fight the war on terror?
As far as the expenditures that we have, if we were legitimately looking for terrorists with the intent of taking them off the playing field, I would support that. In fact, I would trade all the Social Security dollars. I would trade all of the Medicare dollars. I would trade a lot of dollars to be able to do that. The problem that I see is that we can know that these guys are in play. What's up with when we hear that the CIA is tracking a terrorist cell, and then we're listening because we're looking at why not just we spot them, we take them out? I think we need a much more zero tolerance policy on this stuff. If we can identify them and we know that then just remove them from the field of battle.
Well, let me ask a follow-up. If we were to slash the NDAA by $300 billion a year and bring that annual expenditure down to a mere $700 billion a year, and we were to look at the priorities in the military in terms of lethal force that are used to defend the freedom and the security of this country, would you imagine that $300 billion worth of a jobs program, as they usually call it in a lot of federal agencies, when you ask questions, they say, oh, that's a jobs program. So I'm just wondering, do you think that possibly at $1 trillion a year, we can't identify $300 billion worth of a jobs program that is used to defend the security and freedom of this country?
Let me answer that for a second. Do you know, when I found out that the Iranian nuclear strike was in the process for over 20 years, they were devising how they were going to do something that couldn't be done. Do you know how much money that costs? And do you know how you have to set aside money to do it? And that's just one project. Who knows what they have going? That costs money. You could throw around. You could say 200 billion should go for jobs. You could say that. But this is an expensive planet we live on, and terrorism is an expensive fight that must be fought. And I'm sure glad they spent 20 years. I don't know how many billions to knock out Iranians' nuclear weapons. So you throw money. You could spit out any amount you want. You gotta itemize. You gotta look. I'm from the old accounting school. Show me the income. Show me the expenses. Show me. You just can't throw out a $200 billion job program. And who's going to be against a $200 billion job program? But if that $200 billion job program costs millions of lives because we didn't think right, no, it's not worth it. Just real quick question. There's an actor that your voice reminds me of. Who is that actor? Because it's just, I can't figure it out.
Christopher Walken.
Not at all. Jules, please.
Well, I have a New York accent.
Ray Romano.
No, it's not Ray Romano.
T-Mac, I hate to interrupt. I gotta ask Jules a question because he's a former IRS, I believe, international revenue officer. Jules, why don't you explain to the wonderful people in this room what it was like as an IRS officer, and what was it like just filling out a simple sheet to figure out whether you could take a plane or had to take a car?
Well, when I went overseas, I couldn't take a car. So I don't know what your question is.
I'm just making a joke about determining whether it's more affordable to fly by car or by plane because they make it so complicated as an employee at the IRS. It's a waste of everybody's time. That's part of the jobs program I'm talking about. I'm just saying, Jules, you worked at the IRS and the annual budget there is $60 billion a year. They bring in $5 trillion a year. That's a 0.08 ROI or a 0.86 ROI. Does the Treasury even spend too much money doing what they do, Jules? Is there no automation, no optimization? Is there no cost savings possible?
I think there are cost savings, but you don't know you're talking about the military. You don't know what is being spent. Were you surprised to hear the 20 years in the making? Was that Iranian nuclear bomb program? I was surprised as hell. I didn't have that crap in the IRS. I had to fill out travel vouchers when I traveled. I wasn't allowed to, and people looked it over and said, what the hell, what the hell's that? Can I tell you a funny story about that? Real quick. I got it. Real quick. No, Alan Arkin. A lot of other people don't know this. Alan Arkin. Wow, I don't know. He had a lot of different voices.
Alan Arkin. I'm Gary Glenross. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, maybe I sound like him. I'm not him. My throat's a little raspy. But here's a funny story on travel vouchers. They were very strict on travel vouchers. So one of my friends went to London. I think he was with me that time. And he comes back, he fills out his travel voucher. The manager says, look at this. Look at this travel voucher. I can't approve of this. For example, you have a hat.
what's this? You put a hat? You bought a hat. So he said, yeah, I was walking in the streets in London. There was a heavy wind, blew my hat. It went under a bus and destroyed the hat. So he goes, I'm not accepting this travel voucher. Do it over. I will not accept it. So he does it over, gives him the travel voucher. It's the same exact amount, but no hat. So the manager goes, how could it be the same amount? Where's the hat? He goes, you find it. Sure, we thought that was pretty.
Well, I mean, do you have any criticism of the IRS, any whistleblower statements about egregious spending or activity against citizens of this country?
Nobody was out to get citizens. Look, no one was out to get citizens. As a matter of fact, the first year or so, I was in office audit where you get people making $7,000 back then, and their household expenses was $15,000. So, you know, I had leniency on them. I had leniency on people who were driving cabs and didn't report all their tips like, you know, people don't do. But my leniency changed as I grew up, went up the line, and for most of my career, I was an international examiner in the financial service area where big dollars.
Imperial Hubbers. I mean, I know Michael Scheuer.
I've
been reading that non-intervention too for a long time.
You know, and that's where I really enjoyed my job. We're not out to, the IRS wasn't out to get the little person. The IRS was to make sure that the laws that the rich people made was followed, and usually it wasn't.
Okay, so I want to jump in real quick. The reason you were asked that was tying it back to the title. John is just bringing up the point that sometimes the U.S. does things that we spend money and don't solve problems as they pertain to terrorism. In fact, he's alluding to the possibility that maybe we might even like some of the terrorism that takes place because it creates a need for budgets to be spent and a jobs program, quote unquote. So let's get back to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism?
Well, you're talking about the military-industrial complex.
Well, yeah. That's one thing. I want to just holistically think about how can we solve this problem. Can we agree that we have a terrorism problem globally?
Yes.
So what are we going to do to fucking solve it? I have some ideas.
I think that.
But I feel.
Are you just saying?
Hold on. If I share my thought, you guys will think I'm crazy. I might even get clipped. So I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, save it to the end.
I think that, so I speak on this, I particularly have issues with the option B, which is outlawing Muslim immigration. The reason I say that is because of the fact that it disassociates us with countries that are majority Muslim. It could be our greatest chances of ending Islamic terrorism.
Moderators, put me in the queue, please.
Okay, you're in the queue. You're right behind the next person that might want to speak. Okay, let's go.
Jules, were you going to say something?
Well, since somebody's speaking, you can't do it on the cheap. That's number one. You can't. Terrorism is something they want you to spend a lot of money to fight them. It's like whack-a-mole. They're popping up all over the place. So, Roger, you can't do it on the cheap.
What about this? Here's a thought. I'm going to throw a fucking thought at you, okay? Okay? You ready? We give, instead of the $1 trillion that we spend half that giving it to Israel, okay? And again, you know how I feel about foreign aid, so bear with me on this thought. We give the money to Israel. We tell them to gather all the intel, and then they're going to train the troops. We're going to build an army, and the army is going to be built off of the people that we detain that have entered this country illegally. And then what we do is we tell them, look, we're going to ship you over to Iran. You're going to do a land war with Iran. You're going to go ahead and defeat the IRGC, and once the victory is completed, you will have U.S. citizenship. What do you guys think?
No good.
Oh, man, you hate Mexicans that much?
Wait, who gets the citizenship?
The Mexicans get the citizenship. We detain all of the illegal aliens, and then we put them aboard a Navy ship. We train them for war. We send them over to Iran, and Israel will do all the intelligence gathering, the war planning, and then the troops on the ground would be U.S. citizens that'll go and fight the war. They'll be from places like Panama and Nicaragua and Mexico and places like that.
Well, I think you're describing the Bay of Pigs invasion almost to the T.
Yeah, but this is the Bay of the other pigs.
It's like send some pigs to the other pigs' bay, like transatlantic pig sending.
Our big problem is fighting terrorism. Number one, isn't cheap. And number two, maybe even more important, it is not so constitutional, if you know what I mean. We have to break some eggs, to make the omelet. And that's probably a bigger problem than the money. We could think of
especially with the cost of eggs these days, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. It goes up all the time, yes.
Can I just say that
we got a big problem.
Borrowing and spending more to fight terrorism with the ridiculous hope to think that you can actually end it would be the dumbest thing we as Americans can do. If we don't reprioritize our current spend and drastically cut spending, we won't kill two birds with one stone. And we have to start taking a multi-approach action to solving the fiscal crisis and ending the security crisis, which is always an illusion. There is an illusion of security. And spending more money and borrowing more money does not bring you the security that you think it does.
You not only brought up a great point, you linked the two, and they are linked. You're right. We are so much in the hole financially that we can't prioritize our spending.
Do you think it would help if we just educated the world? Because most of these terrorist groups are Islamic fundamentalists, right? What if we just did dropped leaflets and educated the population of all these Muslim countries that the Prophet Muhammad was a pedophile? Do you think that might help?
No. Nope.
I think that might help with our prisons, basically, because who get attracted to Islam if we just, if they found out that Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old, that might make them reconsider.
They have kindergarten classes that talk about killing Americans and killing Jews and killing other religions. You got to stop that culture. You got to allow for Islam to exist, but not the extreme Islam. If we take any extreme culture, which preaches they're correct, only their culture should exist, it's not, we're going to have conflict and war. I don't know if we can do this, but we have to stop the extreme culture. How do you go into other countries and make it illegal to teach hate of other religions, women, or whatever? You can't.
Wait, hold on. No, but hold on. You got to slow it down. Before they write the textbooks of killing people, they bought into this idea that the perfect man was this guy that married a 6-year-old and fucked a 9-year-old. I think what we have to do is we have to say, look, pedophilia bad, and ergo Prophet Muhammad bad, ergo Islam bad. And again, no disrespect intended to any of the people that have been, subjected to this cult. I have a lot of empathy for you if you happen to be a cult member. We can deprogram you once we end Islam.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mojo. Yeah, I just don't think.
Wait, let's hear from Frank. Frank, I don't think he's had a chance to speak. He has a pink ticket. Frank, go ahead. Hit me with all the wisdom you got.
Yeah, thank you. I think as long as the board demands terrorism, so when the demand is there, supply will be created. Doesn't matter how you behave. So the root problem is
this is called Clubhouse.
demand.
This
for
is how can we end
terrorist
terrorism?
That is a question.
Well, okay. I know this is going to sound extreme, especially from somebody that doesn't like initiating force on nonviolent people, but wouldn't it be easier if we just kind of said, hey, if you're living in a place that's really sandy and you worship a prophet that fucks kids, like, what if we just glassed the whole fucking thing? What if we just said, you know what, fuck the norms, we're just going to pack up the bombers, move the subs, and just fucking nuke the shit out of the entire fucking region. I'm not saying I'm advocating for that. That sounds genocidal. I'm just throwing it out there as a thought experiment. That covers my ass from getting clipped. Go ahead.
I think that is it. Okay, but do you believe that a religion that tells you to go to a land because God promised you 2,000 years ago is also like...
Oh, if you're talking... Well, hold on. Are you talking about the Jews?
Like extremism, like Christian extremism, evangelical.
Hold on, guys. I get Phoenix. I hear where your question is coming from. Let me just say this. I think that when you have a derivative interpretation of other text, for example, this idea that we have religions. Let me get this point across to you guys. And no offense to my Christian brothers
Kitover
or even school members that are part of Islam. I don't think they run that area. The Bible, right, outside of the first 5 books that make up the Torah, you have created fan fiction. Now, it's old fan fiction, and it's
the United States Constitution,
it's not exactly
candidate Congressman John Kitover.
It's just kind of like say, hey, that was a cool idea. That's what we organize people. Let's write our own book. And then you guys just started adding this expanded universe for Star Wars. It's just, you can make money off of it, but you're not really making good art.
5. Each house shall be the judge.
Brooklyn, and
5.
is traveling there, going and taking someone else's home because if he don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it because it is mentioned in his book that God promised him that place 2,000 years ago. What about that?
Phoenix, you're bringing up a good point here because, look, who the fuck are we to argue with God? Like you said yourself, God promised it to a chosen group of people. And you know who that chosen group of people is not? These fucking phony-ass motherfuckers that came up with the name Palestinians. What the fuck is a Palestinian? It's like, Palestine is like Narnia. It does not exist. You would agree with that, right, Phoenix?
No, it seems like what you said about it, like they say...
Hold on.
They say
Phoenix. Oh, and so if that's the logic, then as an East African, because I'm Ethiopian, I would appreciate all you Arabs and Berbers to leave North Africa because you weren't there either first. So leave Africa.
Dude,
so I don't think that.
Hold on, Phoenix.
I don't think that Arabs are in Africa because God promised them like 2,000
Phoenix, hold on, Phoenix, hold on. I want you to respond to what the woman just said. I know that the delicate sounds of a woman's voice is probably something that you're not used to hearing, but I want
that's a stereotype.
I know, but I want you to respond to what she said. Without going on your own little soapbox, can you respond to what she said? Because what I thought, I heard her say something brilliant. We call that in America a mic drop.
Yeah, I was responding while you interrupted me. Like, can you control yourself so I can respond to her? So yeah, she mentioned that Arabs are in Africa, and I don't think that is motivated because God promised them Africa 2,000 years ago.
It doesn't matter the motivation. Why are you in North Africa? I need you to leave. I need all you Berbers, Amazigh, whatever. You're not African. You shouldn't even be there.
Yeah. So that applies to
Lebanon, Syria.
Does that apply to like Native Americans?
I think it doesn't apply to anybody, Phoenix. It doesn't apply to anybody. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to
A
anybody.
lot of people watching this live stream. Amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't
This is
apply
called
to
Clown
anybody,
House,
but
aka Clubhouse.
again,
Subscribe
if
now.
you go into a
Thanks for
place
joining me on
that
this YouTube live stream.
isn't that
There's only 6 people here. What the fuck? I thought it's...
like religious kind
The
of
religion doesn't
extremism.
teach that. The religion doesn't teach that. Okay, so
Okay, so you go to a certain place and
Who's
consider
smoking
like
hot?
Jerusalem to be the kind of holy city, but
She's
it's a
smoking
religious
hot.
thing, right?
it's a cultural thing, but certainly the religion doesn't teach that they should obtain Israel by force or something like that.
Yeah, I think that even Palestinians are cultural about their land, and
So
there are Palestinians who are atheists. There's Palestinians who are Christians. There are Palestinians who are
that is
Hold on one second, Jason. Let two rules of the road here. We're gonna let people finish what they're saying. Try to make 1 point, maybe 2 at the most, and then once you're done, then somebody will respond. I think this will work better if we let people say what they have to say, even if we disagree with them. Phoenix is probably going to have opinions that are less popular with this stage, but even more reason to give him space and give him grace, and then we can respond to him in whichever way we see fit. Just don't interrupt. The interrupting is the problem.
Yeah, relax, chill. Don't like freak out.
So Phoenix, you were in the middle of saying something. I think Roger wanted you to finish what you were saying.
Yeah, Phoenix, I was saying all of that to say, please finish uninterrupted. Jason, you heathen.
So the criticism is that there is a certain religious stuff going on with Muslims not being able to like there is the bad intentions towards the others, right? And that I agree with you that you should not actually people should not mix politics with religion, right? But the thing is that there is a man that went into the Middle East. He's from Brooklyn, and he went there because a religious text told him that God promised him that place 2,000 years ago. Is something that motivated by religious kind of wet dreaming.
Sure, that's motivated by religion. And I think 2 wrongs don't make a right, so maybe we could discuss whether this guy...
But Jason, three rights make a left, though.
So we could discuss whether this guy did a wrong by going there. I don't think he did. But it wouldn't change the fact that when you look at various communities all over the world, there are some sub-communities of Islam that have a real hard time following the law in their chosen countries. Okay? Not all of them. In fact, many of them are quite law-abiding. You see earlier waves of immigration in France, for example, were quite successful. But we do see in various parts of the world some very troubling stuff in connection with Islamic society. And sometimes in their own countries too, Islamic people have a lot of trouble with extremism. The greatest victims of Islamic terror are Muslim people in Muslim countries. So I don't know that we can say all we want about this guy from Brooklyn, but it doesn't change the fact that there is legit criticism and a legitimate concern regarding Islam. We can also talk about this guy from Brooklyn, but one of these is not going to pay for or solve or cancel out the other.
I totally agree.
But to be honest, this is just a fake conversation and argument because they don't want a 2-state solution. They want a 1-state solution. So it doesn't even matter. These are
Just here for the comments. I don't know your number. Did you text me?
Can I last 40 years?
Is that Rich? Yeah, it's Rich.
Well, MD, I'd like to mention this to you regarding of immigration.
You want the link to the clown house? It's in the muff.
For the economic of the whole world. Therefore, I don't think you have a right to say Arabs into Africa because immigration is good for the world. And the point is, you have to.
Oh, it's good for Africa. So Africans have to share the land and deal with y'all, but no one else should.
No, I'm done. MG, we're all from Africa. My answer.
Oh, you want me to add you to the group chat?
That's not the point. The point is,
70,000 years
it's
ago.
a continuous conversation. They want a one-state solution. That's the whole point. They want a one-state solution. They're not interested in having an honest conversation and finding a solution. Because, because of Islam, they just want they want a caliphate.
Well, some Muslims don't. Okay, I don't think that Saudi Arabia wants a caliphate.
They don't already have a caliphate?
A lot of these countries do not want a caliphate. They want some variation of constitutional monarchy or democratic republic or various other things.
Actually,
so
yeah. Actually, Islamism was created as something to stop what was called Arabic nationalism, which was a little bit communist and socialist in its nature, right? And it was there was this struggle between communism and capitalism, which is that's why is someone here masturbating?
Yeah, Johnny boy, mute your mic or get kicked from the stage.
My bad, dude. My bad. I was eating nachos. Sorry.
Nacho cheese.
My bad, guys. I'm sorry. I know you now. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I feel like this is a good segue, Phoenix, because I don't want you to center yourself. But Phoenix, in 3 sentences or less, tell us how you would end terrorism.
Good question, dude. Good question, y'all.
So I think that we end privilege kind of mentality and a certain status quo that make a certain people privileged and a certain people not privileged, and there's this kind of a priority, and other people are going to have that's a good start.
Are you talking about America or in Islamic countries, like in Syria?
No, I'm talking about capitalism and capitalistic materialism and that.
So you're talking about America? About America?
No, about the worldwide. So Islamic countries are capitalist also.
Oh, they are. They are. Okay. All right. Got me.
Yeah, I think socialism is really good. So.
Hold on. Let me clear my ears out. Did you say, I just want to make sure I wasn't in the Matrix, did you say that I think socialism is really good?
Yeah, I think socialism, equal rights for everyone, there is no privilege, kind of,
The hell you say? Hold on. Listen. You're free to practice whatever fucking religion or be in whatever cult. But when you come into my space, you son of a bitch, talking about socialism, if it's a good thing. Good for who? Good for who? The people that you've stolen from? Huh?
No, it's good for the world that all people have well-being, to be taking consideration of the well-being of everyone, not just to exploit others just for.
Wait, hold on. Let me explain something. You shut up, you son of a bitch. You shut your mouth.
What is going on?
You shut your mouth.
You control your
hormones. No, you shut your mouth. You shut your fucking stinking goat fucking mouth. You shut your fucking socialist mouth, you commie.
Wow.
Shut your fucking mouth. Listen to me. I like what Friedrich Hayek says about socialists. If socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists. Carry on.
Well, Phoenix, you're quite a contrarian, aren't you? You work in a bookshop in Mecca, and you are a confirmed LGBTQ. So I'm just wondering, how do you?
He lives or works in Mecca?
Yeah, he works in a bookshop, and he's gay. He's a gay man living in Mecca.
I think we should wait till an Islamic holiday and all the Muslims are in Mecca doing that little fucking weird thing where they're like in a slow motion fucking punk rock pit. And I think what we should do is we should drop the mother of all bombs on Mecca. What do you guys say?
Oh, okay, that's what I call terrorism then.
Too soon?
Yeah,
I mean,
remember one of the objections to the mosque being built at Ground Zero was saying that, that Muslims can build a mosque near Ground Zero when we can build a synagogue in Mecca.
Great point. And why?
Hey, guys,
something like that. I don't know why you're doing that. Every action has a reaction, but you're creating hate. I don't know why.
Well, why don't you think it's okay that Ben Gvir can't pray in Jerusalem wherever he wants? Why do Muslims in Jerusalem get special treatment? Why can't Jews pray where Muslims pray?
I don't mind personally.
Yeah, you don't mind.
Just bring attention to the fucking poll about. Hold on, hey, everyone, stop! Everyone, mute yourself. Listen, there's a poll up above. It's not a trick question. Somehow, some people are getting it wrong, but how many zeros are in 37 trillion? Well, I'll let John Kitover talk to you about what the 37 trillion might represent.
Listen, we the IRS that Jules and I used to work for brings in $5 trillion a year. We spend $7 trillion. In 2050, if you ask Grok, at $50 trillion in debt at 2050, we will be paying $4 trillion a year on the national interest, which is about an 8% APY. Your Congress, your senators have had black cards, and they keep borrowing on your behalf. And what are you getting for it? You're getting shitty medical service. You're getting immigrants pouring in through the gaps. Your children's future has been mortgaged. We have the biggest mortgage on the biggest clown house you've ever heard, and we're spending $1 trillion a year in national interest. And when I ask people on Clown House, what is 100 times 1,000? They can't even do that simple mathematical equation. Even though.
Hold on, let's put this to the test. Phoenix, what's 100 times 1,000?
100,000.
Well, this has.
Man, wow, the phone a friend was powerful.
Okay, wait, Phoenix. Phoenix, what is 900 times 1,000?
This is
Okay, so I missed the mathematics class. I think mathematics is boring. Poetry is better.
Got it. So, as we have proven again, that Clown House is actually an ESL training app, and you're all just wasting your time centering Phoenix.
And Phoenix wants to divvy up the money when he can't carry
I love
to begin with.
Congressman. I think he's a decent person.
Hey, Phoenix, I got a question for you. How many zeros are in 37 trillion?
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's in the title. I gave you that one. But how many is it?
I don't know because I believe in socialism.
Wait, you don't know? That makes sense. You believe in socialism, so you can't do math. Perfect.
No, I don't think that there should be trillionaires.
No, Mojo, he just likes being social. That's what he thinks socialism.
No, I don't.
Hold on, Phoenix. Hold on. Jesus Christ! If the first time I tell you to fucking hold up, if you just muted yourself, mute your goddamn mic, I wouldn't have to repeat myself. I just want to say that on the bright side of this poll, nobody believes that there's only 10 zeros in 37 trillion. So there is that. Nobody selected 10.
Mojo, can I ask another very simple but yet important question?
I hope you do.
If we wanted to take the national debt from $37 trillion to $30 trillion in 2 years, can anyone explain that simple math to me?
It's not that simple because the answer would be 3.5 trillion per year plus interest. And if you're trying to calculate the interest on that, the interest on the 37 trillion is about a trillion a year. So in over 2 years, if you wanted to pay it down, you would be closer to 4.5 trillion per year in order to pay it down 7 trillion. Thank you.
So let me ask one more question for anybody in the room. If we were to double the tax rate in America and take us from an average of, say, 40% to 80%, how much would we collect in income tax? Thank you.
Not enough. Not enough.
Well, if we take in $5 trillion and we double the tax rate collection to twofold, that would be how much? $10 trillion a year.
Yeah,
Are you saying
You're
that's
going to cut the operating cost, and then you're going to have the expectation that the top 5% are willing to take that and not park their money overseas or leave the U.S. on hold.
Oh, Brad's in the
Brad's right? Hey, good. Brad's in the room. He's right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I heard that U.S. national debit, the reason it exists because there's a demand out there, there's a lot of money out there that they like to park the money to the secure place. Therefore, the U.S. create the bonds and that in order to sell those bonds for the people to invest on the secure habit. That's the reason that exists.
I'm just saying, if we were to raise the tax rate to 10 trillion, but yet we still spent 7 trillion, and we only netted 3 trillion, and we were to take that off the deficit, off the total, we would still be at 34 trillion. So what I'm trying to point out is that short-term, long-term, we're already at a critical level of debt. And if we can't cut Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, national defense, if we don't stop borrowing and spending, we are all a bunch of what?
You're right. You're right.
Broke hope.
Tax increases in tax is not going to cut the deficit. Just remember that. Barely pays the interest. By the way, since we're talking about this, that fucking Powell should lower the interest rate. He's playing politics, and you know he's hurting every one of us in this room right now. He's killing us, and Trump is right, and I hope Trump fights his ass.
Well, home inventory is through the roof. There's more sellers now than ever before, but there's no buyers because nobody wants to pay triple what they were paying in 2021. You'd be a sucker to get a mortgage at 6-7% based on how other people bought their homes at 2%, 2.5%.
Well, I think when the world became more safe place to invest elsewhere than U.S., that's the time the interest rate would go low. When the interest rate goes low, then people, they will sell the bonds and invest somewhere else. But until that demand is there, there's the reason the interest rate will stay high because people, they're interested to purchase those bonds.
Well, I hate to ask maybe a controversial question, but how much did the United States spend on the COVID-19 response since 2020?
The question should be, why did the United States spend the money and not make China spend the money? That's the question.
Well, another question to ask would be, why did the U.S. pay for gain-of-function research in a lab in Wuhan, China, to create a virus in the first place?
And since we're asking the question, why is Fauci walking around a free man? Great question, Mojo.
Okay.
He wasn't prosecuted yet.
I got a film coming out October 19th. It's called Last Dragon. And if you answer the $1 trillion question, Mojo will have you come to wherever he's at and party at the theater. And Mojo can tell you more about that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm waiting for the details on the specifics for which theater it's going to be in. I'm guessing it'll be the big AMC in downtown Seattle. But on the premiere dates, I will make sure that we have all the film enthusiasts out there, and we are going to be selling merchandise. We're hoping that we can get the Last Dragon himself, Timok, to come and sign autographs.
Mojo, you don't need to sell anything. It's just party and have a good time, and don't invite any losers. Well, invite everybody. October 19th, The Last Dragon re-releases into AMC theaters. Get your tickets. Get the reminder on the app, and then.
Do you think we could have a show enough costume party there? You think that would be fun?
But if you go to my Instagram, you'll see. Well, hey, forget about all that. They have Southern University did a marching band playing the Glow. All these huge band, like the 100 or so musicians playing the Glow, right? The Glow. And I thought of having 50 show-nuffs show up in the marching, and when they do it again, you know. What do you think of that?
I love that. I love that. By the way, that's a great idea. I want to see that video because there is a junior high school that typically wins the top band throughout the state. That's not too far from where I live, and I can go and talk to the music teacher there.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. You'll see. Yeah. YouTube. If you put the Last Dragon Low marching band, yeah, I'm gonna just send it to you.
This is amazing. It's amazing. Welcome, El Normo.
Good evening.
Norm, off the top of your head, how many zeros in 37 trillion?
I'm going to say 12.
That's a good guess, my friend. You're better than some of the people here that are answering this question.
Is it true? Am I right?
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. It's exactly 12.
There you go.
That's the SAT dance.
I put it in the chat right there if you want to take a look at the marching band playing this one. I don't have them in the streets yet. They're on the stands right now.
I love it. I love it. Has anybody here not seen The Last Dragon? Anybody? Is any Luddites here that just didn't see this? By the way, Timok, I was looking at films that you, in 1985, when it was released, that Last Dragon outperformed in terms of domestic box office. It wasn't quite up there with like Beverly Hills Cop or whatever. What was the other one that came out?
Maybe I did tell you. You know, they didn't promote the film because they had this whole thing about, well, it's more of a black thing, and it was diverse, but they weren't promoting across the country, so it went to number 2 in the country and dropped out. Anyway,
well, I would highly encourage people, even without the promotion, go look at how it did in comparison to some of the movies that you've grown up on that you love and think of as classics. It actually did perform pretty well. I think it was like 27, 31, for the year. I mean, there's a lot of films that you did more money.
32 or 33 million at that time, and it was a $10 million or $12 million budget at that time, and they skimmed some money. The producers stole some money.
And you have to imagine that when it got to video, the secondary market, it did very well, because I know that's where I was consuming it regularly.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Enough about me. Back to the boring conversation.
I saw the adult version of it. I don't know if I saw the original.
Can I just ask another important question to the room? Who here believes that the COVID-19 vaccines are 100% safe and effective? And if so, why do we keep hearing stories about myocarditis, heart attacks, as well as turbo cancers?
Are you suggesting, John, that the cure was worse than the disease?
Yes. Was the vaccine worse than the virus itself? Was our emergency coordinated response from the Pentagon, known as Operation Warp Speed, which pumped in hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars in funding, were we our own worst enemy in this particular situation? Anyone?
Yes, we were. We didn't follow the science. We panicked. I remember standing 4 feet in back of somebody in a store, and I got yelled at for not standing 5 feet with my mask on like an idiot. You're right. You're right. By the way, because we handled this so poorly, as you said, Congressman, we can expect something in the future that the banking we handle just as poorly.
I don't know if I got the anthrax vaccine. I'm pretty sure they vaccinated the Army.
But why do you think that they
in
did
Georgia.
this, Edmund?
I'm sorry, what was your question, Ann?
Why do you think they did this?
Well, I saw a document from the Bush administration that this plandemic, scamdemic was always in the works, because prior to the innovation of big tech platforms, there was this thing called big pharma. And guess where all your taxpayer dollars have been going for the past 30 years? To big pharma and big health insurance companies. So what I'm saying is this most definitely was one of those conspiracy theories that wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was your government and the Pentagon and Pfizer and Moderna and J&J and Bill Gates and the media orchestrating one giant group think of stupidity. And then people went to their local fire department community center and got vaccinated as if it was free candy for a baby.
Damn, you're expressive on this.
Yeah, when my mom told me that she decided to go get this free shot, I'm like, how stupid could you be that you're going to get a government administered shot? None of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the Federal Reserve and our ability to borrow. The first act is called the HEROES Act in March of 2020. Go look at the congressional record and look how the spending's associated with ramping up production, creating a $100 billion corporation out of thin air to make this vaccine. Do you know how many Indian manufacturers came out of the woodworks and manufactured this patented vaccine? This is a multi-year project. There's a lot of information in this, but this vaccine has caused turbo cancers and myocarditis. Doctors are speaking out. It's all on X, but you'll never hear it actually put into the spoken word on MSNBC. While Rachel Maddow screams about Trump and Pritzker screams about redistricting in Texas. This is all just swept conveniently under the rug. There will be no repercussions. Pfizer's been given immunity. And Senator Kennedy recently pulled funding for mRNA. So there's, it's a war against a multi-trillion-dollar cartel, just in the same way that there's a banking cartel, there is a pharmaceutical cartel, and they want your taxpayer dollars. And they need your taxpayer dollars because they are offering you products that you would never buy and go and take out a loan to purchase unless your federal government decided on your behalf to give your future to a big pharma corporation for your health. Does this sound like healthcare to you?
Let me add insult to injury, Congressman. I was not in the pharmaceutical group, but they get tax breaks up the ass. With all the money they're making and all the deals they have going, they get unbelievable tax breaks. So not only are they killing us, we're paying for them to kill us. That's how bad it is. You are right.
Do you think that we'll ever be able to seek justice for any of our family members that have
No, I have friends who are really sick and the doctors say it was from the shots. I have friends who died, and it was from the shots. We will never seek justice. No. How are we going to seek justice?
You can get justice in the social media court of justice. That's about it. And unfortunately, you can't hire a lawyer and get any compensation.
Right. There's no compensation. I have a friend who has so many things happen to her. She's in the midst of losing her eyesight now, skin diseases, everything, all from the shot. And every lawyer says we can't touch it.
You sure she doesn't have AIDS?
She doesn't have AIDS.
How do you know it's from the shot?
All the doctors say it's from the shots.
It absolutely amazes me that some people don't believe in the simple concept of cause and effect. So autism rates are through the roof. Through the roof. I wonder, are 59, 89 injections for a newborn baby necessary for a 3-year-old baby? It's insane what we're doing to ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves nonstop, and we're borrowing to do it. This is the sickest and the dumbest situation, I think, and nobody can see it. It's right there, right in front of you. It's called cause and effect.
Which part do you disagree?
He disagrees with cause and effect.
Well, I mean, it's like...
I believe that the vaccine can be harmful. I believe that it can cause many of the things we're talking about. But I also think that it probably saved lives. It saved my life, even though I don't take anymore. I mean, I was an asthmatic. I got really bad cases of COVID, even with the vaccine. And able to survive it. So in some cases, it saved lives.
Okay, but the amount of people that lives were saved versus the adverse reaction. I mean, I know you're not Grok, Dr. Jordan, but let's call a spade a spade. This isn't a vitamin booster to help you. You're infecting people with spike proteins and causing genetic disorders in human bodies. Next thing you know, Zuckerberg and his wife open an anti-inflammation $100 billion nonprofit. They're connected, Dr. Jordan. We're poisoning ourselves. We're not protecting ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves.
Let me ask a question. Can everyone see the poll up above? Because I only have 6 people
Dr.
that
Jordan went to jail.
responded to it. So if you guys need to refresh your the poll feature, you guys might need to refresh your app if you can't see it. But if you see it, go ahead and respond to one of those things, because we'd like to get some votes in here to figure out what you guys think. Was the vaccine worse? Was the disease worse? Or are you unsure?
Mojo, you got these beautiful women here on stage. You got to get some help to promote this right here.
Listen, sometimes I prefer smaller rooms, especially when we got the lovely ladies here. We don't need a sausage party in here, but we can share the room if you'd like. But it is ladies' night, so I will be modding all the pretty ladies. And if you're a lady and you don't get modded, maybe I don't think you're pretty.
I don't want to bust your odds, Roger, but what do you mean worse? Cost-wise, health-wise, future-wise,
Christ.
I know.
How many characters do you want me to write in this fucking thing?
Well, okay. Well, you can explain it now. I mean, little kids didn't go to school for, 2 years? I mean, that fucked them up. I'll catch you in
Is it a net, which was worse? Net, the vaccine or the disease?
Okay, you got me. I'll vote. I'm voting.
You mean you were holding up your vote because you were being pedantic? Is that what you're saying?
No, because I didn't see it up on top. Like you said, go look on top.
Oh, let's see.
Okay, there we go. Got my vote.
There we go. We got 14 votes. 15 votes. This room doesn't close until I get 1,000 votes. I'll keep this room going all week. I'll keep it going all week. Fuck it.
You said 1,000?
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
Bro, you do just 985 more votes.
Wow, Tony. John, do you want to ask your question? We have a qualifying question for people here. John, do you want to ask him the basic qualifying question?
Yes. What is 500 times 1,000?
Oh my god.
500 times 1,000 is 500,000.
All right. He can stay. Man, you may be smarter than a 5th grader.
Mojo, could we vote twice like in real elections?
Only if you're dead.
Okay, that's good.
When you came to Britain,
that was a quick answer.
That's where I was really good.
So quick, Mojo. You were so quick. I love this guy.
Dr. Jordan, there is something called the placebo effect, right? So it could be that that was it.
But in my old field, when I was an infectious disease biologist, we always used the model.
Were you eating, Dr. Jordan?
Sorry. We always used the model prevent, control, eradicate, right? And then we use the medical model, which is based on vaccinology. So we don't know that, if you don't vaccinate a population and you allow a pathogen to mutate, we could all be dead. So yes, there are negatives. There are certainly negatives, but I'm not so sure that we didn't end up saving saving all of civilization, because that's a little